to make repair a two-way street. Repair has to be a one-way street, and this is really easy to forget. Most conversations will be treated like a dialogue. Like, I'm going to bring my hurts to you, and then you're going to share your perspective, and then I'm going to share my perspective, and it's going to be this back and forth. The reason that this does not work in repair is that it can easily lead to, let's say you bring up your hurts, and then your partner's listening to you, and then they want to share their hurts that are related to that conversation that you're talking about. Or they might want to explain, they might want to correct what they feel is a misunderstanding, right? And then both of you end up fighting to be heard. Both of you are trying to get something from the other person, but neither of you actually ends up getting it. So a lot of times people just go their separate ways. They shut down, they fight, stonewall, and wait for it to pass, but it never actually gets resolved. Even if days later they're back on good terms again, both people are afraid of bringing it up again because it hasn't been a one-way street. So what you really want to do is build that into the culture of your relationship, that when you're trying to repair, that it is a one-way street. So that means that one person shares and the other person listens, and you have to know who is seeking repair. The person who's bringing it up, who has feedback, who has the hurts, that wants them cleared, they're going to go first. The receiving person is going to listen to that, right? And then they're going to paraphrase that back. They're going to hold space. They're not going to get defensive. They're not going to explain. They're not going to defend or talk about their side of things at all. You're just going to listen and give them what they need. And then when you've given them what they need, then you can swap. But I wouldn't recommend doing it right away because then it's still a little bit too close. I'd recommend waiting a day and then coming back to the conversation. And then the person who repaired gets to then be the person who is repaired by their spouse, right? And you can swap places. And that way you can take turns and each of you can be heard rather than like tit for tat and back and forth and neither of you actually feeling heard. And this is really, really hard. People understand the concept of this very easily, but what's really difficult is actually implementing it, because especially if you're the one that's trying to repair and your spouse who's hurt is bringing something up, you likely are going to have reasons for things, or you're going to see it differently, or you're going to argue with it, or there's something else embedded in that you feel like it's very difficult to table that. But if you can really internalize that you will have your turn, and it's not your turn right now, and you can have that successful experience, it's going to be so much easier to do.